Good evening, Tcash merchants. How are you? It is my hope that you're fine this evening. I'm also very fine. My name is Amos. I'll be your trainer today under the Tcash Soko program. So today we're going to learn on how you can be able to earn more with a very interesting payment option called the pay later. Yani, tunaenda kuona how can I be able to generate much more income via the pay later option. Of course, allow me to mention this, that hii session inakuja after other sessions we have done in the course of the week on how you can set up your shop, how you can make sales using the shop, how you can get to promote your shop online, and of course, we have exploited the different ways in which you can be able to get the money for the sales that you make using the platform. Tulisema that there are three of them. Unaweza lipwa na the Soko QR code. So ukilipwa na Soko QR code, hiyo inamaanisha nini? That hii pesa itakuja directly to your Tcash wallet. Unaweza lipwa pia na M-Pesa. That is the external wallet. So ukilipwa na external wallet, in other terms the M-Pesa, hiyo pesa bado inakuja kwa Tcash wallet yako. Na pia tukasema unaweza pewa pesa in terms of cash. Na ukipewa in terms of cash, hii pesa sasa unapewa directly in cash terms, and you can either deposit it to your bank account or also to your Tcash account. So there will be another upcoming payment method, and this method is called the pay later. So I want us to explore it and understand it, tujue hii pay later inamaanisha nini. So pay later means that somebody picks an item from your shop on credit basis and then promises to pay you the cost of the item later. So what does that mean? Mtu atakuwa nakuja ananunua from your shop, akinunua from your shop anaofa kulipa later, pay later. Yani hatalipa sahi, atalipa baadaye. This has been something we have been doing before. Kuna customers wenye ni so loyal to our businesses. For example, to my Aura Barber and Salon, there are some customers who are very loyal. Huyu customer akikuja, sometimes hata kama hana do, I can offer the service and then they will pay me later, especially the employed people who get salaries maybe towards the end of the month. Akikuja na anataka kutengenezwa nywele yake, maybe it's mid-month, I do offer them services because I know at the end of the day watanilipa as soon as they get money. But the platform is coming to help us do that in a more professional way. Because what do? Huwa nakuwa na black book. Kwa black book yangu, huyu mtu akikuja, nikimpea services I write their name and the cost and the date of the service. So the advantage the platform is doing to us is I do no longer need that black book. What I need is the app, because the app will know that I sold that item on credit basis. Na ikishajua niliuza hiyo kitu on credit basis, there is something else that we're going to explore called the automatic debt collection. Itanisaidia pia kucollect hiyo pesa. Wow, interesting. For you to offer things on credit, you must know one thing, that your pay later must be active first. And how do you activate it? To activate, utakuja kwa the business part of your app. As you can see, I'm sharing my app. I'm on the business section, not the personal section. Remember, pay later, you're offering pay later kwa biashara, like as a business. So you cannot access that via the personal app, not unless unataka kununua kitu on credit. So ukinunua kitu on credit, that is when utakuwa unachukua pay later from the personal side. So from the business side, to make sure that your pay later is active, utaguza hii icon, the business logo icon. It is actually the icon on the top left hand side. So nikiguza hiyo icon, it brings me to this screen. On this screen, I have the business logo, the name of my business, and of course it is telling me that I'm the owner, giving me the option of switching profiles. And of course, because I don't want to switch profile, I will come to the business info. Yani information ya biashara, hapo ndio nakuja. Nikikuja hapo kwa business info, then of course, the name of the business is the first option. Inaniambia have one photo, the location of the business, the operating days ziko hapo well set, operating hours ziko well set, the badges. These badges is very important. Why is it important? Because of the people who are going to buy from you online. People will have fear buying from a shop that is not verified. People want to know that your shop is verified. And how do you get your shop verified? All you just need to do is to complete your KYC. We did that session together, and you can access it on YouTube. You can access it on YouTube and how to complete your KYC, because once you complete your KYC, then your shop becomes automatically verified. So hapa kwa settings ndio nitaka tufike. Kwa settings, there are two major settings that you have to make sure that they are active. One of them is the online shop. Lazima isome active. The second one is the pay later. Pay later is the third option or the last option kwa business info. Pay later. Ukiangalia hii pay later kwa shop yangu nasoma inactive. Ikisema inactive inamaanisha I can't be able to give items on credit from my shop. But because I have some loyal customers who I may want to give credit to, then I have to tap on it to make it active. Nikitap, unaona sasa the status has changed from being inactive to being active. What does that mean? Hiyo inamaanisha sasa I can be able to sell on credit basis. I can be able to sell on credit basis from those people who have cash soko. So we must understand this. Kusell on credit or using the pay later inamaanisha lazima huyu mtu akue kwanza na Tcash Soko app yake, because the Tcash Soko app is going to be the in some kind of credit facilities kuna kwanga na witness. So Tcash Soko app ndio witness. So lazima akue na Tcash Soko app. So akiwa nayo, then if your pay later is active and this person is a loyal customer to your shop, they can be able to buy items from your shop on credit basis. So how will that be happening? So once your pay later is active, then of course a customer will come to you seeking goods or services. Using the normal process, like you go to sell, and where do you get the sell option? Remember, it is down there at the middle. Down at the middle, you have the yellow icon that has the sell or the cat logo. So once you press on that, then there are the three ways of selling. Of course, we have exploited all of them, but I just go to the catalog, which is one way of selling. Once I go to the catalog, tuseme huyu mtu amekuja, they wanted to do a beard white dye, which is the second service that I offer in my shop. So if they wanted a beard white dye, I'll just add one item, and you can see that the cart becomes active and with shillings 50. So I'll tap on the cart. Once I tap on the cart, then of course you can see that this is the beard white dye that that I want to sell to this person. I will proceed to checkout. So nikiguza checkout, then inaniletea kwa hii option ya receive payment. So kwa hii option ya receive payment, after some time, if I want to have loyal customers, I will have a fourth option called the pay later. It will be working together with the Soko QR code, so that now this person scans the Soko QR code on my phone. So akiscan itampea option ya pay later kama hana balance kwa Tcash wallet yake. So ikimpea option ya kupay later, then I will have to accept that I want to be paid later by that person. Niki accept that I want to be paid later by that person, then I'm given an option of setting a charge for the pay later activity. What does that mean? That I will get to earn more. Juu, initially, or what has been happening ni nikipea mtu product yangu ya 2000, hata akinilipa 4 months from now, atanilipa bado 2000. But when I'm using the platform, I have an option of charging something extra on top. So tuseme nampea 4000 na nasema nitamlipisha maybe 10%. So hiyo inamaanisha atanilipa 4040 shillings on top. So that is what it means. Atanilipa not 4040, 4400 shillings on top. That is the 10%. So you can be charging say 10%, or you can be charging 1%, 2%, 5%, depending on the loyalty of your customer. And that is how you will be selling via the pay later option. Of course, the next question that comes to people's mind would be, is this secure? Of course, I want to assure you that it is the most secure way of giving credit. Why? Because the platform will not be allowing you to give credit to people who have not built their profiles over time. The reason as why that pay later option is not active to date is because we have not used the app for sufficient time to get to give it data that it can use to give us credit ratings. Kuna kitu inaitwa credit rating. Credit rating inapima the depth worthiness yako. So like kuna mse anakuanga debt. Huyu ukimpea kitu on loan definitely watalipa. Unajua watalipa. And how will this app be getting to know our credit worthiness? Itakuwa inajua by the transactions we make. So we'll be building trust with the app based on the number of transactions we make. The more the transactions, the more the higher the credit levels we are going to be accessing. So what are these credit levels and where can we access them? So to access the credit levels, I would want to exit this card because I'm not buying that. Okay, I'm not selling that. So to access the credit levels, mtu inafaa akuje kwa personal. Akikuja side yake ya personal, then this takes a moment to switch. It has switched already. Anaenda kwa icon yenye iko na profile picture yake. For example, I can now tap the icon that has my picture. Once I tap on that icon, then there are a number of things that appear there. It shows that this profile belongs to Amos Mathu, and the picture is showing there. I have the option of switching to business. I don't want to do that. I have the code that has been given to me by the Tika Soko platform, and the KYC. You can see that my KYC is completed, and there is that option, credit score. But before I go to credit score, I want to talk about KYC a bit. For you to access credit or for you to give items on credit, you need to have completed your KYC first. What does this stand for? Know your customer. How do you complete it? We did a whole session on how to complete your KYC that is still available on YouTube. You can go watch. You just need your face and your ID, and those are the only items required for you to open this digital wallet called the Tcash wallet. So nikikuja hapa kwa credit score now, then you'll see that the credit score now shows up. It shows my face, then my name, and it is telling me that I've been active since February 26, and I'm still under new. Why am I still under new? I've not done sufficient transactions a new credit score, I am not able, or I cannot be able to access the pay later as an individual. So siwezi access pay later as an individual using the platform. Because the platform still doesn't have enough information about my spending habits or about the kind of business I do. So once I give it this information by making many transactions, then this changes from being new to being these levels that you're seeing down here, the credit levels. It will change from being new to being low. And of course, you can see that the stars now start getting the white. So as I transact more, I'll move from low to fair, from fair to good, from good to great, from great to elite. There is something very interesting about this platform. Once you're on elite, like the highest credit score level, you can access credit on very low terms. And this credit score is not only used to allow you access products or access goods on pay later. It can also be used in a banking institution, kukupea loan. So let us make sure that we are transacting using the app for us to access the credit levels and for us to ensure that we are able to improve our credit scores. Definitely, you can be able also to move your credit score level backwards. Why? If you're not paying within the required time. Why? If you don't pay, if you take a debt and say you wanted to pay it in like 7 days and you don't pay it in 7 days, then you're affecting your credit score. So it is very important that even as we take items on pay later and as we give pay later payment option to our customers, we insist to them that they need to pay in good time for them to retain their credit score. If you don't pay within the period of time, then of course your credit score would go down. A person can also be blocked from using the pay later if they default. That is one of the things that can make a person blocked from using pay later. And if um, they fail now, they fail to transact using the app for a longer duration of time. If this person has not been transacting using the app, then that is a person who is definitely not putting their money into the app, and therefore they cannot be trusted and they would be blocked from using the pay later activity. So another advantage of having the elite is that you can stay with the pay later, like you can stay with somebody's product for a longer period of time. Remember, for us as business people, of course we deal with products and some of us deal with services. Kwa products zenye una deal nazo ama kwa service zenye una deal nayo, you need to sometimes expand your business. You need to get more stock. You need to ensure that you're competing with the current trend of items. So for you to do that, sometimes inakuanga tedious because hauna hata pesa. You want to access these goods on a say pay later basis or so on. If your credit score is very good, una access your pay later na payment period inakuwa more than a week. So unaweza pewa payment period that is more than 1 week. Very good. So now we have talked about this pay later and we have talked about the credit score. So how will you be monitoring ni vitu gapi umepeana on pay later basis na zitakuwa zinaapia wapi kwa app yako? So we go back to the business section. If I go back to the business, so I have to switch from the personal to the business by just tapping the business option. And because I own many shops, I'm going to move to one of my shops. So and then I'll switch. Then here I am onto my next to my business section of the shop. So nikiwa hapa nitakuwa na access hii pay later information kwa wallet. So ukiangalia app yangu inanipea Tcash balance, Rotary tickets, performance ya leo and so on. But nikikuja hapa chini kabisa, there's the option of home, orders, sell, then wallet. So hapo kwa wallet ndio nitakuwa naonea ni watu wangapi nimepea items on credit. So nikikuja hapa kwa wallet, unaona inanionyesha the Tcash balance that I have, and then there is the pay later. Inaniambia there is no pay later activity yet. What does that mean? Hakuna mtu nimepea items on pay later basis. So that is why the pay later activity has no transaction. So all the transaction, ukipea mtu an item on a pay later basis, you don't have to go back to your book because the app is collecting that information and storing that information for you to use. Anytime you need it, it is just there on your app. On your mobile phone, in the app, you just get to access that information as soon as you need it. So that is one of the advantages of using the Tcash Soko app. So there is something very interesting about this pay later, and I want to talk about it. It is what we refer to as automatic debt collection. Hii inamaanisha nini? Like, you don't have to go through the stress of calling people, reminding them that they owe you money. Like hapa haitakuwa inangoja ati unipigie simu uniambie, oh, Amo, nilipatia an item on credit na bado naona hujanilipa. Si uniwekee hiyo pesa please. There is not going to be that. The app will be doing something that we refer to as automatic debt collection. So itakuwa inakata pesa yako automatically from the person umepea an item on pay later basis, so long as siku mlikuwa mmeagree zimefika na akona pesa kwa Tcash wallet yake. So pesa inatoka kwa Tcash wallet yake inakuja kwa Tcash wallet yako. That is how amazing this platform is going to work or is meant to work. And through that, inatuondolea ile stress tulikuwa nayo ya kitambo. Stress ya nini? Uko na kitabu hapo umeandika mtu deni, hakuja kwa shop yako nowadays, you don't know, umpigie simu, ukimpigia simu sometimes kama mtu anajua unamdai hata hachukui simu yako and so on. So now that will be a story long past. We are in a new generation, a digital kind of space. And once we make our businesses digital with the Tcash platform, we get to access these amazing features, such as the pay later. So once I give a person items on pay later basis, then there is the automatic debt collection. Sio mimi nitakuwa naenda kujicollectia hiyo pesa. It is the app that will be doing the work for me. So my work will just to stay at my shop. Yeah, so long as siku tulikuwa tumeagree, you will pay within 7 days. 7 days zikiisha, pesa uko nayo kwa Tcash inadidaktiwa, yangu unapewa, yako inabaki kwa account yako, because of course the app will get to know that you took an item from my shop on pay later basis. Isn't that interesting? And the most amazing thing ni ati, if I'm to give you a product of mine costing 5,000 or costing 10,000, for example, I will get to earn something on top because niko na option ya kucharge a fee for accessing that pay later. So nitakuwa na kucharge a fee for accessing the pay later. So ikuja kubai kwa shop yangu, an item yenye nauza say 100 bob, I will be charging 5%. So nikikucharge 5% ya hiyo 100, which is 5 shillings, then I'm able to earn more. Yani sitakuwa nalalisha pesa yangu. You know, most businesses do not like giving items on credit basis. Kwa nini? Because ukipewa watu items on credit, stock yako inaenda chini. At the end of the day, stock inaisha, hauna pesa ya kuendea stock. At the end of the day, pesa yako sasa isacurate kwa economy. Na remember, for you to make money, your money must be circulating the economy, generating money for you. So in this case, this product in nimepeana on pay later basis will still be generating money for me. Why? Because I will be accessing an extra interest charge yenye nitakuwa na charge huyu mtu kwa kutumia the pay later option. So that is how we are going to be benefiting maximally using the pay later option. So kindly remember that for you to benefit, you must ensure that the pay later is active on your shop. How do you do that? Under the home, there is the business icon, the business logo icon. Once you tap on it, you come to business info. Down there kabisa, kuna pay later. Make sure that it is active for you to stand a chance to benefit from this option that is availed to us by the Tcash Soko platform. Something else that I would want to mention is that once this pay later is active, you can offer products on pay later basis to people who are loyal customers in your shop. So huyo mtu lazima akuwe na Tcash na akuwe anafanya transactions na Tcash. So we have a chance to encourage our customers to kindly download this application, because it will be allowing me to give you items on credit in future. Of course, this is like after about 6 months. Once it has collected information about a customer for about 6 months, itakuwa imemjengea credit score, na hiyo credit score ndio itakuwa inatumika kupatia huyo mtu items on pay later basis. The interest you're going to charge should be based on the credit level of that person. Kama mtu credit level yake iko poa, then unaweza mpea at a very good interest rate. Kama mtu credit level yake ni mbaya, then interest rate gets to increase. And that is how we are transforming biasharas from being manual, black book oriented, pen black book oriented biasharas to digital biasharas, where we can even give items on credit via this amazing Tcash Soko platform. So this brings us to the end of our session today on how we can be able to earn more with pay later. We have done so many other such like sessions, and they are already posted on YouTube. In case this is your first time or there is any session you have missed, you don't have to worry. You can always go to YouTube and get to watch our earlier sessions and get to learn. Let us learn together how we can benefit from this amazing platform that has been brought to us courtesy of Telkom Kenya Limited. So in case you have a question, feel free to reach to me via the chat section. So I will be responding to your questions as soon as I see them. Have a great evening and thank you for your attention. See you tomorrow on our other sessions.